Good morning, everyone, and happy Monday. I hope you had a great weekend and are excited for another week of distance learning. Today is Monday, April 27th, 2020, and if you haven't done so yet, I hope you are recording the day and date on your work plan, updating your work plan with a weekly goal, and making sure to record the works that you do each day. So your parents have access to that, and if you don't have a printed work plan, you could always make up your own, which is kind of fun. You can design it the way you want, just making sure you have spaces for all 5 days of the week where you can record your works, and making sure that you're recording the goal as well. All right, so let's jump into our math talk. So on Friday, we had a Fact Fun Friday, and our different columns are units, tens, hundreds columns with different addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division problems. Go ahead and pause the video if you want to check over your own work. I'll hold it here for a few seconds for you while you hit pause. If you've already checked your work with a parent or with any of our materials, that's also a great way to handle it. Because I don't know about you, I don't like waiting to know if I got my answer correct sometimes. Sometimes I really want to just jump right into it. All right, well, we're back on Monday, so we have to find what's missing on Monday. So, again, we'll have some what is missing subtraction problems. So here we have 9 minus blank equals 5. So, what do you need to take away from 9 to equal 5? You have some equations of those. And our level 2, or our tens, has some more subtraction equations with either the subtrahend or the minuend missing. And then finally, our level 3 hundreds does have some division equations. So, good luck. Great way to start your morning is by practicing some of your math. All right. Well, for our language, our daily language this week, I'm going to read to you a short story about someone who did something remarkable in his or her life. And I'm going to do this over the next few weeks. I'm going to read a story on Monday about someone who I think is worth learning about, worth studying, and then worth maybe honoring and trying to emulate, or trying to be like. And then on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, I will ask some questions. We'll do some activities, all related to the story we read on Monday, okay? So today's story is The Value of Believing in Yourself. That's a picture book, so I will get close to the camera and read it in this way. All right. Once upon a time, there was a boy named Louis Pasteur. As he played with his toy soldiers, he wondered what he might do when he grew up. Maybe, he thought, I might find a way to help people who are very sick. That's when the bee, buzzed in his ear. Hello, my name is Believe. Believe in yourself, Louis, and you will be able to do more than you ever thought you could. And Louis listened to me. He worked hard through school, learning everything he could about medicine. All the while, he repeated what he had heard from me, his true voice. I believe I can, he said as he studied. I believe I can find a cure for the invisible enemy called rabies. Louis finished school and became a scientist. Many years later, he began to work on finding a cure for rabies. But others made fun of him. How silly, they said. If an enemy is invisible, then no one can find it. Sometimes Louis became discouraged. Maybe I can't, he admitted to himself. But then he heard a voice the laughing children could not hear. Remember, I told him, When you believe in yourself, you can do more than you might think. Louis listened to himself, smiled, and went back to work. Years after, people laughed and poked at Louis Pasteur. A little boy in a land far away was laughing and poking a stick at a poor, sick dog. The boy's name was Joey. He wasn't really a cruel little boy. He just liked to tease, as some children sometimes do. But this was not a good idea. Unlike most dogs, who are friendly, this dog was so sick that white foam was coming from his mouth. Do you know what was wrong with the dog? The dog had rabies. If you were able to look inside the dog with a very powerful microscope, you would see the germs that were making him sick. All of a sudden, the dog bit Joey, and the germs that were hiding in the dog traveled into the little boy. Joey became very sick, and his parents worried. Everyone knew that anyone who was bitten by a dog with rabies would most surely die. All Joey's mother could do was comfort him. But then one day she heard some very exciting news. A scientist says he has found the invisible enemy that causes rabies, and maybe a way to cure it, she exclaimed. Joey's father hired a carriage with 4 fast horses. "Let's go!" shouted the coachman. "We haven't a second to lose." "Hurry!" said Joey's mother as the horses galloped. "Hurry!" pleaded Joey's father. Even the trees seemed to whisper, "Hurry! Hurry! Faster! Faster!" Joey and his parents were on their way to see the man who may have found a cure for rabies. Can you guess who that man was? If you guessed Louis Pasteur, you are correct. It was Louis. Yes, the man who listened to me, his true voice, and came to believe in himself. He had done what he believed he could do. "Dr. Pasteur," Joey's mother asked, "can you help us?" I smiled as I heard Louis say, "I believe I can." Louis explained, "You see, what we have always thought to be an invisible enemy isn't invisible at all. Rabies is caused by a tiny bug called a germ that is so small that it can only be seen with a microscope. Once I discovered the germs that cause rabies, I was able to find a way to fight that enemy. I have invented a new medicine." "Will it work?" groaned Joey, who now was very sick. Do you think Louis' medicine will work? "Think of my medicine as magical soldiers," said Louis, "with bright eyes that can see in the dark. They, like the germs, are too small for us to see with our eyes, but these tiny soldiers will travel down through a needle and go inside of you and find the enemy. They will do battle with the germs until they destroy them all." Despite his fear of needles, Joey listened to his true voice, his own best thoughts. It told him he needed to be very brave. It was the only way to get the medicine into his body to do battle with the germs. His parents were also very brave because they knew that no one had ever tried this before. "Will it be dangerous?" worried Joey's father. "Are you sure your medicine will work on a little boy?" "I believe it can," said Louis Pasteur, and he gave Joey his shot. Louis' magical soldiers, called the rabies vaccine, went to work and began to battle the rabies germs. By now, there were millions of them inside Joey, and it was a very fierce battle indeed. But the medicine was more powerful than the germs, and they were soon outnumbered and destroyed. What do you think would have happened if Louis had not believed in himself? When the last of the enemy had been beaten, Joey felt better. So much better that he jumped out of bed and danced around in a circle, with his mother and father, of course, and Louis Pasteur. I danced too. I buzzed in his ear, "Louis, you really do believe in yourself." Louis smiled and was very happy. Are you happy when you believe in yourself? When he was much older, Louis was invited to England for a special meeting of important doctors. As Louis arrived, all of the doctors stood up and cheered. Louis said humbly, the Prince of Wales must be arriving nearby. No, Louis, I buzzed. They're cheering for you and for all the wonderful discoveries you have made. Today, we still benefit from Louis Pasteur's belief in himself. He discovered other germs and found ways to make things, including the milk you drink every day, safe for people. That's right. He discovered a way to keep germs out of milk through a process called pasteurization. Do you hear Louis' name, Louis Pasteur, in the name pasteurization? As you can see, our story ends happily. Now, you might want to think about yourself. Does believing in yourself make sense to you? What you may want to do in your own life, of course, may be different from what Louis did. Whatever you choose, you may discover that when you believe in yourself, in big and in small ways, you can be happier too. Just like our good friend, Louis Pasteur. And that is the story, the value of believing in yourself. In the subsequent morning greetings, I will ask some questions. We'll do some activities connected to this story and to learning more about Louis Pasteur, because he is someone who did change the world, and he did so by believing in himself. All right, to wrap things up, who am I? We had one on Friday, and if you recall, it was, I am very colorful. I'm also one of the most popular bird pets. My bill is thick and hooked. I live longer than most birds, sometimes as long as 60 years. My voice is loud and harsh. By patient training, I can be taught to talk. Who am I? If you guessed a parrot, you were correct. All right, now this week we're kind of shifting gears. Last week was all birds. This week you'll have to see if you can figure out what the connection between all 5 of our animals is. So today's clue. My body changes a great deal in my lifetime. When I hatch from my egg, I am a caterpillar. I feed on leaves, many, many leaves. After I have eaten enough, I split my skin to reveal a case called a chrysalis. When I come out of my chrysalis, I have 4 magnificent wings of brilliant colors. What is my name? Tune into tomorrow's morning greeting to hear who I just described, for some work connected to the value of believing in yourself, and for the next Math Talk. Have a great Monday, and keep on keeping on.